Hello guys, this is Amaziz and it is Tech Time, and today we are going to do another Java tutorial. It is our third one. We started first with Hello World, then variables, and today we are going to introduce you to user interaction and user input, how to interact with the user. So let's go ahead and open our IDE, Eclipse. And let's go ahead and make a project by going to File, New, and Java Project. And then type in the Java project user input. There we go. And go ahead and finish. That's all you need to do. In my case, there's a file in here, so I'm going to go ahead and delete it. And right click on source, new, and then class. Here's our class. And we're going to give it a name. We're going to say main as usual. And make sure to check mark this public static void main, because we're going to need it. And now we go back to main again. Let's go ahead and format it to the way of our liking. I like it this way. So let's go ahead and start with our user input. So before that, let's make some example in here. Maybe we want to do ask the user their name and their age and if they are above 18. So the first variable we're going to need is a string. Here, string age equal to nothing, or sorry, not age, string name equal to nothing, and then int age equal to 0, and their boolean above 18, and we're going to close it. In this case, we're gonna make it first name equal to nothing and last name equal to also nothing, and then I'm gonna make an let's say university or school and nothing. This is just an example to keep in mind, and you can change it however you'd like. So let's go ahead and start. So let's ask them the question system.out.print line, and ask them what is your first name. That is our first question, and then we're going to ask them, I'm just going to go ahead and print out our messages first before we started with the input. So just keep one line in between them to add the input in there. So what is your last name? What how old are you, and are you above 18? Then our last thing would say system.out. Or the better way to do it is to add it under the last name. So system.out.print line, and we're gonna ask what school do you attend? So all of these are inputs, and if we run the program by clicking on run here, we will just see output. So how do we get the input from the user? The way to get it is by using a scanner. There are multiple other ways to do it, but a scanner is the most widely used one. So scanner is an object name, just like you use a string, and then you have to give it a name. We're going to call it in, or input if you'd like. I like input better. And you're making a new one, so equal a new scanner. Just like you say it in English, you type it, new scanner, and you give it parentheses. Then you tell it your argument, which is system dot. We usually use output for output, but in this case we're using input, so you have to do system.in and end it. The system.in will tell it that I want input. So the scanner in this case is having an issue because we don't have that in our code. We have the basic library where it gives us the variables and output, but we don't have the scanner. So we should import this library. The solution is right here. You just hover over the error, and the first solution is it, import scanner, and it will import it right here. It is a library in all computers. You just need to import it. All the code is done for you. So here's our input, but how do we use it? So, good question in here. Input dot, always do use dot. Whenever you see a new object, use dot and see what's inside it, and then try to get to know it. So what we're gonna do is next. There's next line and next. Why do we use next? Well, you'll see as we go along. Press on the next and then do that. And what happens with this next? So if I run this program, what happens? It stops. That's because it's asking me for input. What is your first name? My first name is Azam. And then it continued on, but it never got my answer. It never displayed to me and told me, hey, your name is this. So what we need to do is first name is equal to input.next, which is whatever the user gives us. How do we know this is going to return to a string? If you hover over next, you'll see that it gives you a string. So that means when you're asking this, in return it will give you a string. So how do we display that then? After asking all these questions, let's say this is input phase, and then in here we're gonna say output phase, and we're gonna say system.out.println, and we're gonna say your first name is colon, and then space in here, first name. Make sure to end the double quotes in here for the string that you're inputting in here, and then plus whatever their first name is. So let's run it. Go ahead and run it, and then it's asking me for my first name. So here's my first name, and then it tells me your first name is Azam. Now I want to separate in between them, so I'm gonna go ahead and do at first system.out.println, just one end of line to separate in between them. So now I got the first name. What about if I want to get the second name? So or last name. So I type last name just like I did before, equal input dot next. I want the next string, and that's it. So that will work great. And then let's go ahead and run it, and I'll show you that Azam, and then it stops at last name, Aziz, and then it tells me my first name. But now I want to add last name to the display. So I copy this and paste it here. Your last name is, and then you change this to last name, and here it is. So now this is calling last name, the variable that we got the input from in here. So let's run it again, and then type Azam, Aziz, and here it is. Your first name is Azam, your last name is Aziz. So now what about the school? Well, let's type school is equal, which is our variable here, input.next. Now let's try next and see what happens. So let's go ahead and display it as well in here. And since we're writing these, let's display the rest of them. Your school is, and we're going to type school in here, and then we're going to type your age is, and we're going to type the age in here, and you are above 18, and then we're just going to type the boolean, which is above 18. Is that correct? That is correct, but it does not accept it. Let's figure out why. Because we did not initialize the variable. That is something that I talked about in my second tutorial and did not listen to apparently, but that happens. So let's go ahead and run our program. So press on start, and then it's going to tell me Azam, Aziz. Now I want to type the school that I attend to, and I'm just going to type some random school, Hogwarts, Yale. Now what happened here? Why did the school say just Hogwarts? Well, good question. Why did age and say 0? The age is just default, but Hogwarts is only what is in next. Next only gets one word at a time. So it only got Hogwarts from my input, Hogwarts Yale. It only got this word. In order to get everything in a line until the end of the line, you have to tell it dot next, and it says next line. So give me the entire line. And this is the reason why I did first name and last name and then school by itself. So let's go ahead and run it. Now my first name is Azam, Aziz, and then I must have over-clicked in here. Let's go ahead and run it again. Oh, actually, no. I know why this happened. We have to do another input.next line, and I'll explain why in a second. So let's go ahead and type Azam, Aziz, and then hello world, and our school is hello world. So here's why this happened, and I want to display to you in here. Let's do string show me equal, and I'm just gonna put a temporary string in here. You don't have to type this, you can just follow me and I'll show you what's going on. So I'm gonna right click, toggle breakpoint, and here it's actually happening but I just can't see it. And where's my first name? Azam, Aziz, and then it's gonna stop me here. So what happened here? I type Azam and then I type Aziz, and then what is next? So I'm gonna go ahead and show you that show me, the variable show me, let's see if it is in here. We have not made it actually, so let's go ahead and step over it. And show me is nothing, has nothing inside of it. That's because the word Azam, so let me explain it to you in here, and let's say right here. At this point there is a nothing, an end of line. So you type in here, you type Azam, and then in here you type Aziz, and then there's an end of line in here that you can't see it, but it's actually there and has a next line. What it did in here, it get that end of line, but it didn't get my actual word for the school. So we're gonna go ahead and remove this, and we're just gonna keep one of them that is just getting the end of line from the previous text we entered. And this one would be let's say hello, or just say computer science. Okay, so this is gonna get computer science. Now what about the how old are you? We're gonna go ahead and write the rest of them and then run the example. So age is equal to input dot. Now every kind of variable has its own next. So next int, this is what I want. Next int is what I want for the integer value, and for the boolean above 18 I'm gonna say equal input dot next boolean, and there it is, and it just gets it for me and then displays it in here. So let's go ahead and run it. And what is your first name? Azam. What is your last name? Aziz. Computer science. And then how old are you? I am 22. And are you above 21? True. And it got everything, and it showed me in here my first name is this, my last name is this, my school is this, my age is this, and I am above 18. So I'm gonna go ahead and run it again and try again. Aziz, computer science major. You can have 3 words or however many words you want. I'm gonna say 22. I'm gonna say false, and it runs it again and it shows me false, and the same input and same output. So let me summarize everything for you. In here we have a string variable. We gave it a name, we gave it a name, we gave it a name. We initialize it with nothing, so we use these 3 variables. We have an integer, age, and we have a boolean above 18, which is false. We have a scanner, which we use for the input. We named it input. We made a new instance of it. That's what you call this. And we called the constructor. You don't have to worry about this, but you give it in the parentheses system.in. So you're telling it, I want an input. This is the input phase. I display to the user that system.out.println, what is your first name? The first name now, the variable, is going to be filled up with input.next, whatever the next or string is, whatever the next word is. In this case is system.out.println, what is your last name? I'm displaying to the user what is your last name, and then it's gonna do this. So let's go ahead and step through them actually, and I'm going to show you line by line what's going on. So here it is. We're gonna step through it. I'm gonna use the shortcut of F6, but you're welcome to use this button right here on the top, and F6, it's gonna display that. Then I can't really type just yet, but so Azam, but it won't go to the next line, so I have to press F6. Now it gets it and puts the information there, Azam. So I'm gonna display it again, and you may be able to type in green Aziz, but if you look over the variable last name, until you step over this line, it won't actually get your text, even though you just press enter. So now I press F6, now it gets it, and now it fills the information with Aziz and highlights it in yellow, indicating that you just entered some information. So you get the next line, the end of line in here, and then you F6 again, and you get the computer science major, and how old are you is gonna step over it and display that. Then we're gonna get the age, which is 22, and F6, and now it gets it and puts it in there. Now we step over it. The above 18 is actually saying false right now, so we're gonna say true to it, and it's gonna accept that and say true here, and then it's gonna print line and then print the first one. If you step over this, you'll see that the variable inside it is Zam, the last name is Aziz, the school name is computer science major, the age is 22, the above 18 is true, and it's just going to display them one by one like that, and then go over it. Here's an interesting idea, and you should always be, as a software engineer or as a programmer, whatever you want to call yourself in this discipline, try to practice new things and challenge the code, so to learn new things. So I'm gonna run it again, and I'm gonna say my name, this computer science major, and how old am I? 22. And then I'm gonna type in here 1. What happens if I print 1? It's true that Boolean is 1 and 0, but Java doesn't interpret it that way, and it breaks if you give it the wrong input. So if you type instead of 21, if I type instead of this will be acceptable, this will be acceptable because they're strings. And how old am I? What if I type hello? It will also break because it's expecting an integer, and that's why it will break. Same thing with the Boolean, you have to give it a true or false, otherwise it will break. So with that being said, I'm going to run it one last time. Azam, Aziz, computer science major, 22, true, and then it's going to display that for us. And here you go. This is your program. This is how you interact with a user and talk back with them and display them what you've seen. Please like and subscribe and favorite our videos if you could. And I'll try to put the videos on our website, indiedevelopment.co. And if you have any issues or any questions or concerns, please go ahead and ask me. I'll try to cover them and help you out with them. And thank you for watching, and have a good day. Bye.